Hello?
My old friend.
Hey, bud, what you up to?
Well, it's Sunday, and I've recently. I mean, you both probably have. Everybody's. Oh, if you're not, the old saying is, if you're not growing, you're dying. Type scenario. Of course, we both have been playing with that. But it's also Sunday, and to me, Sunday, I like to dive off into just deep things. I like to study. I like to study philosophy and science and spirituality. I like to weave all those things together. And you and I have been having the perfect background conversation for this. And there's a lot of things that we agree upon and understand that are like. We understand some of the same things, and there's things that that I have never been exposed to, and vice versa. And when talking these deep conversations, it's always I always just like to. I like to have these conversations for our guests, for our audience, whatever you want to call it, every once in a while, and just kind of just wax poetic. And we got to talk another day about many different things. One of them being how the universe started, or how existence started, or what There's so many different views out there. In your world, just where you're at right now. When you think back, if you had to put life in perspective, to your view, understanding of where we are at right now, on a ball of dirt, rock, and water spinning through space around a big ball of nuclear fusion, yes, but fission. But what else? Where did we start? Where did this thing come from? Where are we at? What are we doing here, man? You have any insight? Go back as far as you can and just give me your philosophy if you can. On how it started. I mean, what happened then? How did we get to where we're at?
Well, I'm not sure how we got where we're at, but just based on like new things that they've discovered. Einstein's string theory and space and time are interconnected. Is kind of where a little bit of that started. And what it is it was like, with new discoveries they've made, using, new technologies, the theory of everything actually unifies the thing of like where, religion and God actually meet in this theory of everything. The show, one of the things they were saying is, because of like, we said Schrodinger's cat before, it's an experiment where like, you put a cat in a box with a capsule of poison and, the cat's alive and dead at the same time because until he's observed, nobody really knows, the uncertainty principle. Well, they've come back and followed like, well, the only reason we see reality is because we have an evolutional adaptation to let us see only as deep as we can currently see at our state, that reality has more dimensions than what we can currently see. So with the advent of this theory of everything, you would be able to kind of like a user interface, like Windows into an operating system. You'd be able to operate in a deeper dimension. Well, with them doing all these maths and things, trying to, prove certain things, they realize that they can't look at them as integral pieces that are set. They kind of interweave through. And so for us to observe reality as we perceive it, that means there has to be a higher order being, i.e. God, the universe, nature, Mother Nature, Gaia, pick the name of that you want to call it, higher order being, that he has to exist, she, has to exist in order for us to currently have any form of reality. And so I was like just really amazed that, well, they finally have found a way to maybe marry the disparities between, where religious folks think, well, scientists don't believe in God, but, scientists can believe in God because now the new theories are actually supporting there is a, quote, God, and so now I just thought it was really cool how those marry up and how it can change your thinking of the start of everything. If the start of everything is the higher order being, well, the Bible could be right in some things, but in some ways it may be wrong at the beginning. But they could be right and wrong at the same time. And the same thing with the scientists and the theory of everything and the string theories. I mean, there's so many interactions with that. But if it goes down, the way that they're seeing it is doing, they recently took a Fibonacci laser and signed it on the crystal, and they got an 8D image, you know, and so they know that there's something deeper there. We're just barely scratching the surface of it, you know. But skeptics and, you know, agnostics and, you know, atheists and, you know, these things, you know, there is soon seems to be a more prevailing theory of science and God can actually line up and go, yes, he exists, and that is why we have reality. Just maybe not everything that happened in between.
Well, you know, you mentioned Einstein there, and of course, you know, another thing that he talked about that gives to, you know, you mentioned string theory, but you know, the newest thing that people are looking at now is more the quantum theory, and which is what Einstein referred to as spooky stuff at a distance, and that's kind of what the Big Bang is to me, is spooky stuff at a distance, and so is a lot of this quantum stuff, which is, there's one test that's almost like your box there you talk about, Schrodinger's box, you know, the slit experiment. But also when we start looking at stuff down to that level, I mean, the order that we know in our level, in our, you know, 2 or 3-dimensional world, whatever it is different down there, man. There's different things going on at this quantum level that we can see now due to technology that's opened up new things to us. I mean, how does that change how we think about where we're at?
Well, the following through with you know, they've actually found quantum pairs, and they've actually been able to observe them, you know, type thing. And it's just the discovery that the quantum theory, you know, it leans back to the credits of there's deeper reality than we can see. That we're finding ways to just touch on that spooky theory and that quantum thing, and we're able to just barely observe it, but only because, you know, of that, you know, large hadron collider they had. When they started applying some new formulas to some of the things they were seeing, that's how they kind of started down this road. And so the quantum theory is just, they know it's there, you know, we can prove it, but we can't really, again, we can't interface it yet. And that's one of the things that this science, the theory of everything, is really trying to marry together, is we know almost certainly that Einstein was wrong in lots of things. He wasn't at least totally right. But he could have been right and just didn't have the right formulas to go with it, and they're finding that they kind of do work together. So, you know, it'll be there. It's just, you know, at the time, you know, that we'd be able to do something of that nature, you might would be able to just reach through the box, pick where you want to be, and just show up there. I mean, you know, because this theory also says that each universe is one compartmentalized rectangle, circle, you know, a sphere, not a circle, you know, I mean, it's got to be a 3D object, and that all time and space is contained in that box. So that means you'd be able to, things in the future could influence things in the past, and the past could influence the future, you know, type thing. So when you look at it, go ahead.
Well, that's fascinating, because you're talking about an era that they say Einstein may have made. And then you talked about all of reality existing all of the time. And I remember that was one of the arguments in that video that you and I have mutually watched, the one from Quantum Gravitational Group out in California. But now that's one of the things is you know, they were breaking down the whole universe as we know it, or at least the universe that we're in, and all of time, in fact, may even more than one universe. I don't even understand exactly, but lots. But they broke it down by Planck length. You know, each little thing, it said it was pixelated, and Einstein says that reality was not pixelated, that it was one continuous stream. And this group here says that it was not a continuous stream. But anyway, that's pretty deep. That goes deep into what Einstein thought and what this new quantum theory stuff is changing up and bringing to the forefront of this. What's your thoughts on that, on modern physics?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is the modern physics is, you know, like Einstein wasn't wrong. It's just, you know, like they explained in one of the one we was watching, and then I went and did some research, and it's true. They found these from some of these different hadron colliders, and then applying the math, and then figuring out how some of these formulas, if they used, you know, a 8D type object, that it would work. And so they're just now barely touching it. I mean, you know, type thing. But, you know, there's the thing of the consciousness. There has to be one large, like our reality is interpreted because there's a consciousness watching everything that's observing it. And that's why we're only seeing it, you know, is because it's been observed. Well, then that begs the question of, all right, your consciousness within yourself. You are your own consciousness. You are observing the world. So by your observations, you become technically overseeing your own universe, which would mean you're a god of yourself, in a lot of ways. And, then that kind of made me wonder about, well, okay, so what if each individual is their own universe and swimming in another universe? Then when those two universes get together, they have a kid, and it creates a new, unique consciousness. I mean, everything it is sitting in that brain-shaped package up there in that skull. So, now that was whenever, I was just kind of wandering that way. How about you?
Well, you mentioned that, but I was like sitting here thinking about another line of thought that we came from whenever we started talking about this the other day was of evolution, and you just kind of mentioned the brain, and that's not a new thing. It's been changing over time. So we're in this existence where we have quantum stuff going on, we have galactic stuff going on, we have the brain changing from basically stardust to where we're at now with all these various chemicals and minerals and everything that produce us way out here. You mentioned there was a creator to physics. Do you think it was planned to be out here, or do you think it just a things that set in motion that made us figure out where we're at today?
Well, I mean, the infinite universe is infinite, so that means you can never really say nothing's impossible. Because in an infinitely infinite universe with infinitely infinite possibilities, nothing is impossible eventually. So I have no clue. I mean, I know just it's an unknowable thing. I'm agnostic. There's something there. I know there is. I mean, we're all tiny pieces working in a tiny piece of the machine that feeds the rest of the machine that feeds, each part of the tiny piece feeds the next, but I don't know if it was accidental or intentional, but if it was an intentional thing, well, so be it, but it had to start somewhere. So, I mean, do we start looking down the matrix world? Each one of us everybody's universe is a simulation within a quantum computer. Well, then that means that one's a quantum computer in another universe. I mean, type thing.
Well, so if you kind of didn't nail it down on that. So if you're guessing though, looking at that slit experiment, there's some kind of a consciousness there, out there. I mean, like you said, you can call it God, you can call it whatever you want, but what is that? I mean, that's the thing that I think transcends. I mean, like if people want to talk about life after death and all that kind of business, and to me, that's kind of that thing. I mean, it's like, this whole energy of Earth, of the planet we live on. I don't know. What is that energy out there? Is that us? Is that just bullshit? I mean, what is it? Just from your opinion, whenever you see the energy out there, all this vast energy of the sun and the solar system and the universe and the Big Bang and all this shit. I mean, what is it? Is that like a force that could plan something like that, or is it just inert energy, just energy out there floating around randomly?
I can't answer it. I mean, remember, I'm agnostic. It's unknowable. I don't have an opinion because I do not know. But now I would like you to answer because maybe you have an idea.
Well, I don't have a particular interest in that. I was more today just trying to get you to. I was trying to get you to wax poetic today. I'm kind of like you. I'm like, well, sometimes you'll take that lead and go with something like that, So maybe maybe it's not the right time, But
I'm like, I don't know. I can't get poetic whenever I've been technical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really all the same. I mean, you have to. I've done enough technical to know that if you're not being a little bit creative there, bud, you're not going to do very well.
Well, no, that's true. I mean, but I mean, I guess with the waxing poetically, whenever you're trying to nail down a consciousness that is an unknowable consciousness, we may be totally important and just major to this, or we may be just an insignificant fix that ain't nobody gonna pay any attention to. You know, I don't know. It's an unknowable thing. There's no need for me to really care about it too much. I just, you know.
Well, I mean, you care about it. I mean, for sure.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say. That what I mean is, you know, there's no need for me to worry too much. Well, what is it? It's an unknowable consciousness, but it is a consciousness. Otherwise, you know, we would not have this ongoing system that happens.
Well,
you know,
part
you've got
of
the golden ratio. You've got all these things that add up to tell you there's a greater design and purpose. It's just, thankfully, science and that people's beliefs are now lining up.
Talk about that golden ratio real quick as you find it in nature. That there's an example of consciousness out there. I believe. Talk about it for a second.
Well, I mean, other than, you know, it's just one of the things they use to, you know, in this new theory of everything, now that they've started to question the Einstein's, you know, theories. You're talking about the planet length and, you know, that kind of stuff. Well, that's just the minimum distance of a measurable item. And, of course, that means that, you know, we're pixelated, you know, or this 4D pixelated thing floating around there. And that was talking about, you know, Einstein was all continuous rubber sheets, blah, blah, blah. You know, so there was that argument back and forth. But I guess just I don't know where I was going with that. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, there is no answer for it. But and like every once in a while, though, if you just hear something perhaps you've never heard, or maybe hear it in a different way than what you're used to hearing it gives you some brain candy, and that's all this is. I mean, it's
no, I understand.
You know, the only thing that truly exists is here and now, and there's no wrong answer. I mean, there's nothing. Well, I can't decide today that everything is just exactly like that, but I can sit there and play with it for a little bit and speculate. And like with me, like, you know, before I've kind of gotten off into the Eastern thought, and like, you know, I'll be sitting there and I'll go, yeah, you know, Alan Watts says that all of us, the trees, me and you, the, you know, frogs, everything is just apertures through which the universe examines itself. In other words, it's kind of like a little guard system. It's kind of your skin is for your body. It's just something that there take care of it and ward off this and bring in that. You know, it's kind of like a little manager for us. For it, the universe. And that's what, you know, a lot of people say. And of course, you really are part of the universe as this goes. That's the whole Eastern thought. But now from the Western thought, we are more molded in clay by a creator that came here and created it. So I don't think that a lot of people understand the aperture through which we view the world. That's because that's a totally different kind of thought than what, you know, people in the United States of America normally deal with. You know, we don't normally deal with that because we're all science, 0, 1, 0, 1. Of course, 0, 1s and 0, 1s are there too. It's just that it tries to predict things in a different kind of way than science tries to predict things. And I'm going to tell you, you know, science has fell out of favor with a lot of people these days because of the fact that it's, you know, everybody says, well, they're just know-it-alls. You know, of course, I just got to read an article that says that, you know, people that criticize science are wrong a whole lot more than science is. You know, just when you go measure things. So, but, you know, but I'm a science guy myself. But, you know, I tend to like to just kind of swerve all this because all of it. I mean, like I said, that quantum gravity theory that we talk about, they incorporate 8 or 9 different variables as their theory of everything, and one of those is consciousness. And I'd find it hard to have a universe that doesn't have some kind of consciousness. I mean, I don't know how you could get a dumb planet to grow something like us. I mean, it's at least as smart as we are. I mean, we're a part of it. I mean, we're part of this system. We weren't injected here. You know, we are a part of it. We, through some kind of a system that either the Creator put in place, whether it be God or just the universe or just some awkward spirit, just awkward energy, whatever it is. I don't even know. Whatever it is that put into place system or divided it up, you know, and of course, you know, it could be just gravity, that whatever this is that divides things up. It could be centrifugal motion, could be the energy that we're talking about. I have no idea. But somehow or the other, we have got to a point where we have all these fancy human, all these fancy persons, all these fancy creatures on this planet, and we know from just looking at pictures from the new James Webb or the Hubble telescopes that there's some fanciful shit out there, and we can't be alone. I mean, I want to believe there's something else out there. I don't know that they're here. I don't know if they ever will be, but I just think that the larger point, though, is that this is a huge universe. I just feel like that things like us, maybe not exactly like us, but things like us are probably a part of it in different places.
Well, you'd have to be awfully arrogant to think, all that wasted space out there. I think. Because again, I've always believed there's been something greater. It's just I don't call it what a lot of people like you talk about here in the U.S. or whatever. They got one rigid label, and you follow exactly these rules, or you do not go to the happy spot. You go to the bad place. I have no problem if anyone wants to believe it or they won't. We can have a discussion, and they can try to convince me. I'm all for witnessing and that kind of thing. But there comes a point of I just don't believe all that. I just think, yes, there is something bigger. I just don't know if I call it that, But I wouldn't call it the same thing over the Islam, Islamic people call it, or the same thing that, Buddhists call it, or the India with who's the god with all the arms, the destruction, Shiva?
There's all kinds of the Hindu.
Well,
God.
I mean, Anyway.
Well, that's the point, though, is that I think that people oversimplifying it by giving it a name. I think that even in the Christian Bible, it talks about it, God is unknowable to you. But he also said it was made in his image, so who knows? So, but anyway, that's fascinating because it gets twisty real quick. In the United States of America, there's all kinds of educational things going on now. We've talked about that recently, and there's a disdain of higher education right now. People don't want people to study it. They don't want to fund research. They don't want anything to do with it. They just want to do other things right now. Of course, that's probably a bad decision, in all reality, because that's what's kept America, all these this great way of life everybody lives right now. A lot of it has came along since the World War II era, and of course, everybody's gotten quote unquote fat and rich since then. But science is what gave us power, and I mean, you probably want to have a little bit of power. You probably don't want to be the country with the least amount of power. I mean, of course, I think that we're well above whatever the kind of power there is on this planet, but the reality of it is that science and technology is that it's a very human thing. I think that it just kind of evolves with humans. I mean, one of the things that they look at, if you study the ancient man, you're talking about evolution, whatever kind of animal it is, or people don't necessarily believe it was a human, but there's variations of what are truly homos, which is our genus or species, basically, homo whatever. They have some kind of a tool and technology, and it's evolved, and we can really tell what kind of creature that is and what time period it is based upon, most of the time, by their technology. And the ones that don't keep up with technology don't live. That's just kind of the long and short of it. If you can't adapt to the environment and grow and do different types of things, I know it sounds good just kind of right off into the sunset in the Western there, but I mean, this is a big world. It's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people. There's 8 billion people on this planet. We're, 350 million people country, and, science to me is very important. I believe in science, but now I also believe that in that you have to have, from my perspective, I'm probably more science oriented than most people that you'll ever talk to. I don't get stuck with the details on lots of things. There are a lot of things I do have detail on. But I understand that it's good for humanity. It's good for having power. Basically, science allows you to predict the future. People forget that. This is what it helps you predict the future in terms of your power and what's going to happen and all kinds of things. You want science on your side. But anyway, it would be a mistake not to pursue that. So I'm not trying to discredit science ever. Science is big.
No, I
for
mean,
sure.
well, I'm not trying to. Well, and by no means will I discredit religion. I mean, religion's a necessary thing in some people's lives, and if it needs to be a certain set way, that's fine too. I have no issues with that. I think you were made in some higher person's image. Whether that's a consciousness, regardless of what we actually look like. I mean, because evolution has made things change some. So, the consciousness or the spark, we could have started from something and then worked our way up to this. And we're just assuming in his image was when we learned to write and read. We don't know these things. So it's unknowable. But at the same time, I mean, the open-mindedness and closed-mindedness of science. There are some scientists that are just absolutely unwilling to do anything but just die-hard science. I mean, you've got the extremes on that side. I mean, the political situation, you need moderates. The scientific, you need somebody at least with an open mind to be willing to see. I mean, could you imagine if, one of them die-hard atheists had been involved in the start of this, what we were talking about, the theory of everything and where they're kind of at now? And then it was like, well, there's got to be a conscience. No, there's not. So I mean, but you got to have open minds for all of it. Be welcome to discussion. Don't try to bring too much emotion into it. We know things are important to people, but if they're not quite as important to that other person, don't get offended because it's not as important to them as it is to you. I mean, so you got to have that give and take on both sides there. So.
Well, that's it, right. It's exactly right. We found that out from having political discussions about stuff these days. Because all this stuff. Again, everything we're talking about is fanciful. You don't need what we're talking about to go out and live every day. You don't have to have these discussions and ever. There's no requirement that you do. It's for people that have the reflective thought and the desire to look at something bigger. And of course, it's hard to do that when you're talking with politics or with science or with speculative things like say with Delphi, who this is, or science, is there, what does this mean? What's the actual speed of gravity? I mean, what's the, whatever it is, speed of light.
Yeah,
excuse me.
speed of light, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's gravity played into it, so, but the reality of it is that with all this stuff, I think that we probably need to look at like the speed of light with this, because there's more than just one thing going on. You got to look at several different perspectives. Right now we're in our society, everybody is just up in arms, but we've got all these people that are making such a big deal out of things that then in the way our world is set up, there's a law for it. There's right or wrong. That's what we've agreed upon. And then, if it's something new, then we'll muddle our way through. But people being reactionary to things and getting too big of a hurry about it is just not helping the situation any on both sides, With science as well. And you can't hurry any of this stuff along. It's going to muddle along. And no one's ever going to ultimately win. It's a give and take thing. It's like with the Taoistic people in China talk about the yin yang. It's like, sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you don't. It's kind of like the Big Lebowski. Sometimes you eat the bar, and sometimes the bar eats you. But you don't want to have to do that, though. You just want to keep it on a moderate thing and kick along. And don't go any further than the research can tell you, and say that it's law. I mean, you can't say that it's law. Then you've done the research. If you've examined it, if you put the eye of science on it. And the eye of science is that you go in with an open mind and you look at something and you test it. And you see from different tests if it makes sense. Now, you can get yourself fooled into believing that you're doing scientific tests when you're not. You think you are, but you're using what they talked about with Kennedy down there in, Cuba. It's like this group think stuff. Everybody started saying and doing the same thing, and next thing you know, they believe it was the truth. A good decision. Well, it's not always a good decision. Sometimes you gotta, and when it's not, by God, sometimes you pay the price for it. But the reality of it is that we got to keep muddling along. Well, anyway, that's about all I got. You want to take it out?
Oh no, man, I'm good. Shoot, interesting discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All right,
brother.
man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All right,
brother.
man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All right,
brother.
man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's go.
Yeah, I got to go. Talk to you, brother. Thanks later,
All
brother.
right, man.
Bye.
Discussion, bro. If you need to go, let's